What's up everyone? In this video, we'll be talking about the selection control structure, which includes the if statements, the if-else statements, and the if-elif-else statements. So if that sounds interesting, let's dive right in. And as usual, all the codes are available in our GitHub repository, also the notes. In short, everything in this, what you see here, all of them are available in the GitHub repository, and the link is in the video description. As you can see in the notes, selection control structures allow you to execute different blocks of code based on certain condition. So unlike the sequential, where all the lines of code were executed in the order they appear in the code, here, part of the code may not be executed based on a condition. And to see it in an example, we'll use this if statement. So for example, you have a variable, let's say you have age, it has the value of 18. Then the syntax of if, you just write if, you can see it here the note, just write if, then you put your condition, then you put full colon, then the next line you put the block of code that you want it to execute based on that condition. So let us say it in practice, so you just say it if. So my condition can be if age is greater than or equal to 18, like that. Then I'll put my full colon there. Then in the next line I'll just write print, you are an adult. Before I run this code, let us first analyze this syntax. So this if is a keyword. If it's a keyword in Python. Then this where I said age is greater than or equal to 18 is a condition. You can just put any condition there. Then next is this colon. That's the syntax of that. Then there should be some indentation. You can see this is some indentation. But in VS Code, if you just press enter, it will just put this indentation automatically. It's some, or you can just, if it comes here, you can just press tab. But there must be some 4 spaces here before you write your next line. If you are coming from other languages, you always use the curly braces, but in Python, don't use curly braces. You just use the indentation. Okay, so if I save this code and run it, you can see in the terminal it will print that you are an adult. Let's wait for it. You can see it will say you are an adult. But if I change the value of age from 18, I put something like 10, and I save and I run this code, nothing will appear in the terminal. You can see the program will just end and nothing has been printed. That is because this line of code, line 4, it depends on this condition. So this line will only be executed only if this condition is true. So in cases where this condition is false, this line will not be executed. And that is how selection control structures work. It executes a part of code based on certain conditions. So if this condition is true, that is the only way this line 4 will be executed. And I hope that is clear. There's some cases like this program, if you run it, currently you have seen that nothing is printed in the console. So that might not be a good user experience. So you may want, maybe sometimes, if this is false, you have seen that if this is false, this line won't run. Maybe you want, if that line won't run, maybe another line can run. And that is where the else keyword comes in. So in the next line here, I can just say something like else. Then I say print, you are child. That. So let me explain this code. If this condition is true, this line will run and the code will end there. If this condition is false, this line will not run. But since now you have put the else, this line will run. So let us save this code and run it to see if that is true. You can see the value of age is 10 and 10 is less than 18. So expect it says you are a child. But if we change the value of age to something like 19 and save this code and run, that you are an adult is one that will run. You can see it will run only you are an adult. So you can see, depending on the condition, the code chooses which line to execute depending on this condition. So if this condition is true, this line 4 will execute. If the condition is false, this line 6 will execute. And that is what we call selection. It allows you to execute different blocks of code based on certain conditions. Now we've already learned about the if statement. It's here. So let me just duplicate this line and comment out this first part. So this part was the if statement. Then this one was the if-else statement. But there's some conditions. There's some times where you have multiple conditions to check for you to run a specific line of code. And that one is called the if-elif-else statement. It sounds a little bit long, but it's just simple. And I'll use this example to show you. So I'll just comment out that edge also. So let's say you want to write a program that gives students marks depending on what they scored. So you can just have a variable called score there, and this will be the score of the student. Currently we are hard coding it, but if you write complex program, this will not be hard coded. It will be like from user input and something like that. But here we're learning about the if, elif, else statements. So you can say if the score is greater than or equal to 90, you want to give them a grade of A. So I can just say print grade as a string, that is grade A, like that. So this is just the if statement that we learned. Then you can't put an else here because you have multiple conditions to check, and that is where the elif comes in. In other languages it's called else if, but in Python it's called elif. So you can just say elif like that. Then you just write it the same as how you wrote if, but you just add e and l before the if. So it's just similar as if. So I'll say elif if the score is greater than or equal to 80, that is grade B. So I'll just copy this and paste it down here as grade B, like that. Then this elif can be as many as you want. If you can only have only one if statement, else you can only have one else statement in a block of code. But this elif you can put as many as you want. So this can be even 10. There's no problem. So I can just duplicate it for grade C and for grade D and maybe E, like that. So I'll say elif the score is less than, if someone gets less than 70, let's say that will be grade C. Then if this one is 60, that will be grade D. If this one is 50, that will be grade E. No, E, yeah, E. This one should be caps, but they don't matter at all. So here I have put multiple conditions. So if the score is greater than 90, if the score is 90 and above, that will be grade A. If the score is 80 and above, that will be grade B. If the score is 70 and above, that will be grade C. 60 and above will be grade D. 50 and above will be grade E. Then I can put a catch-all, where will be the else. So else is like a catch-all. So if something is, if it does not fit any of the above conditions, and that to be grade, so I'll just write else, then I'll put their grade F, like that. So here I have put multiple conditions to check for. So if the score is above 90, it will be grade A. Elif score is above 80, grade B. Elif score is above 70, like that. So depending on the score, so if now the score is, so it will start from the top. So it will check if the score is above 90. If it's not above 90, it will ignore this line and go to the next line. If the score is not above 80, it will ignore this line and go to the next line until where the score fits that condition. And if the score does not fit any of these conditions here, it will run this last line of code, that is for else. So if I run this code, I expect, since I put my score to be 67, and I'll know that it will be grade D, because 67 is below 70 but above 60. So it will be this line of code, line 21, is the one that will be executed. I hope you are getting it. So to summarize, we started to learn about the if statements. Then we learned about the if and else statements. Then we summarized with the if, elif, and else statements. If this one sounds difficult, don't worry. As we progress, we'll become more familiar with the syntax as we progress. So that is it for this video. See you in the next video. Peace out.